All right, so you know all about ATP, right? The energy currency of our cells. But have you ever stopped to think about how the food we eat actually becomes that currency? Well, today we're going to follow the incredible journey of one single glucose molecule and watch it transform from a simple sugar into the very fuel that powers, well, everything you do. I mean, really think about it. How does that candy bar or that piece of fruit power your brain through a tough lecture? How does it fuel your muscles? To figure that out, we're going to track our hero molecule, glucose, on its epic mission to become pure, usable energy. Okay, this right here is our roadmap for the whole journey. Now, I know it looks a little intimidating, but don't worry, we're going to take it one step at a time. The main thing to notice right now is that our journey has two key locations. It starts out here in the cell's fluid, the cytosol. But the real action, the big energy payoff, that happens inside this little powerhouse, the mitochondria. So let's dive in. Our journey begins with the first, and honestly, the most ancient stage of breaking down glucose. It's a process called glycolysis. And what's cool is that this is the universal first step for pretty much every cell on Earth that uses glucose for energy, from the tiniest bacterium to every single cell in your body. And the name itself gives you a huge hint about what's going on. You've got glyco, for glucose, of course, and lysis, which means to split. So glycolysis is literally glucose splitting. We take one 6-carbon glucose molecule and just snap it in half. And remember, all of this is happening out in the cytosol. And this is key, it's anaerobic. It doesn't need any oxygen whatsoever. So what's our return on investment for this first split? Well, we get two smaller 3-carbon molecules called pyruvate. We also make a little bit of energy right away, a net gain of 2 ATP. It's not much, but it's fast. And we generate 2 molecules of something called NADH. Now, I want you to think of NADH as little energy taxis. They've just picked up some super high energy electrons and they're going to drive them to a different part of the cell for a much, much bigger payoff later on. Just hang on to that idea. And right here, our 2 little pyruvate molecules arrive at a major fork in the road, a critical choice point. What happens next? The entire fate of these molecules depends completely on one single thing. Is oxygen around? This is a huge turning point in our glucose molecule story. So if there's no oxygen, we call that anaerobic conditions. It's like a short-term sprint. The pyruvate gets quickly converted into lactic acid. Super fast energy, but you can't keep it up for long. But if oxygen is present, aerobic conditions, well, that's the high-efficiency long-term marathon. Pyruvate gets its VIP pass to enter the mitochondrion, and that's where the real energy party is about to get started. So let's just look at that anaerobic path for a second. If we go that way, what's our grand total? Just 2 ATP. That's it. Only the 2 we made way back in glycolysis. Now, hey, that's better than nothing, right? Especially when you're sprinting and your muscles are screaming for energy and can't get enough oxygen. But it is a tiny, tiny fraction of the total energy locked inside that glucose. To get the rest of the treasure, we absolutely need oxygen. Okay, so let's follow the money. We're taking the much more profitable aerobic path. Our pyruvate molecules head into the mitochondrion. Yep, you know it, the powerhouse of the cell. This is where the magic really happens. Now, before we jump into the main event, there's a little prep step. Each of our pyruvate molecules gets converted into a new molecule called acetyl-CoA. And in the process, guess what? We load up 2 more of our energy taxis, creating 2 more NADH. This acetyl-CoA is the golden ticket to get into the next big stage, the citric acid cycle. You might also know it as the Krebs cycle. And remember, we have 2 pyruvates from our 1 glucose, so this whole cycle is going to spin twice. And just look at the haul we get from these 2 spins of the cycle. We get another little direct payout of 2 ATP, but more importantly, we load up a whole fleet of our energy taxis. We get 6 more NADH plus 2 of a slightly different kind of taxi called FADH2. The original carbons from our glucose, they get released as carbon dioxide. Yeah, that's the stuff you're breathing out right now. So at this point, we've collected a ton of potential energy, all stored in these little electron-carrying taxis. Okay. Picture this. All those energy taxis, the NADH and FADH2 we've been collecting this whole time, they've all arrived at their final destination. It is time for them to drop off their precious cargo of high-energy electrons. It's payday, time for the cell to finally cash in. This final incredible stage is called the electron transport chain, or the ETC for short. It's basically a series of protein machines lined up on the inner membrane of the mitochondrion. The electrons from our taxis get dropped off and passed down this line, kind of like a bucket brigade. And at each step, they release a little bit of energy. That energy is used to pump protons across the membrane, building up this massive gradient, like water behind a dam. And this is where oxygen becomes absolutely essential. It's waiting at the very end of the line to catch those electrons. Without oxygen, the whole assembly line just stops. And this is the massive payoff we've been waiting for. The energy stored in that proton gradient, that water behind the dam, is unleashed. It flows through an incredible molecular turbine called ATP synthase. And as it spins, it churns out a staggering amount of ATP. We're talking 26 to 28 ATP. So when you add in the 4 ATP we made earlier, the grand total from just one little glucose molecule is a whopping 30 to 32 ATP. Incredible. This chart really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? Look at that. Glycolysis and the citric acid cycle, they give us a little pocket money, right? 2 ATP each. But the electron transport chain, whoa, that's the huge paycheck that really powers the cell. It is responsible for almost 90% of all the ATP we get from that one glucose molecule. That's the real powerhouse. So it's pretty clear that glucose is an amazing fuel source. But what happens when there isn't any? What if you skip breakfast or you're fasting? What does your body do when there's no glucose just floating around in your bloodstream? Well, it turns out the body has a couple of really smart backup plans. Plan A, the first line of defense, is a process called glycogenolysis. And again, the name tells you everything: glycogen, lysis, splitting glycogen. See, your liver and muscles are smart. They store extra glucose by linking it together in these long chains called glycogen. So when your blood sugar starts to dip, your liver can just snip off some of that stored glucose and release it into the blood for all your other cells to use, especially your brain. Your muscles have their own private stash, but they're a little selfish. They keep it for themselves. But what happens if you've been fasting for a while and those glycogen stores start to run low? Well, that's when the body kicks into a seriously impressive backup plan: gluconeogenesis. Let's break that down. Gluco for glucose, neo for new, and genesis for creation. It's literally the creation of new glucose. Your amazing liver can take other molecules, like amino acids from proteins or glycerol from fats, and actually build brand new glucose from scratch, all just to make sure your brain gets the fuel it needs. So we followed this incredible journey, right? From one simple sugar molecule to a massive payload of up to 32 ATP. We've even seen how our body can cleverly store it or even make it from scratch when needed. It's a truly amazing system. But this all leaves us with a really big question. What about the body's other major fuel source, fat? How does our body tap into that even more concentrated energy reserve to generate ATP? Well, that's exactly where we're headed next.